Yeah.
Oh, I would rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
I
rebuke you in the name of
You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you right in your fucking face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot!
Former sheriff's deputy charged with first-degree murder for shooting a woman who had called 911 was convicted on a lesser charge yesterday. Sean Grayson. He claimed he was defending himself from victim Sonya Massey. National correspondent Jerika Duncan is at the courthouse in Peoria, Illinois. Jerika, good morning.
Good morning to you, Nate. You know, a jury of 8 women and 4 men deliberated for roughly 12 hours, and I was inside that courtroom when the verdict was read. The Massey family was silent. They said this was not justice, but a miscarriage of justice.
Now a judge just sentenced Sean Grayson to 20 years behind bars. The former Sangamon County Sheriff's deputy was convicted of killing Sonya Massey after she called 911 for help. Mayor Kawash is live in Springfield. You were in court, Mayor. Massey's children gave impact statements.
Yeah, very emotional morning here in court, in a packed courthouse with protesters outside, many family members here inside. But the Massey family erupted in tears and some joy as Judge Ryan Cadigan handed down a 20-year sentence to Sean Grayson. That's the maximum.
I am just overwhelmed with joy. We prayed that this would happen, that he would get the maximum sentence. But we look forward to him being prosecuted federally for violation of Sonya's civil rights. I don't care about who's running this country right now, but I'm gonna let you know that as her dad, I want him prosecuted federally too, so that when his sentence is up here in the state of Illinois, he can begin his federal sentence in the federal penitentiary.
A woman calls the police because she's scared. Scared of a noise in the night, a shadow outside her window, a prowler she believes is lurking around her own home. It's the most fundamental promise we're taught from childhood. If you're in danger, you call for help. The police arrive. They search. They find nothing. And then, just minutes later, standing in her own kitchen, that same woman has a gun pointed at her face by one of the very officers she called to save her. And then bang, a single shot, a life erased. This is not a hypothetical horror story. This is what happened to Sonya Massey, a 36-year-old mother, in the early hours of July 6, 2024. How does a cry for help become a death sentence? And what is the journey to a verdict that left a family feeling hollow? Tell us about the price of a life. This is the story of Sonya Massey. Before we go further, if you're new to the channel, you're watching True Crime Unraveled. If this story grips you, please hit subscribe. For our family on YouTube, it's True Crime Unraveled. On Facebook and TikTok, find us at True Crime Unraveled TV. And to our incredible community, we see you. We read every single comment. We appreciate every bit of support you send our way. Keep them coming. Sonya Massey was 36. To her family, she was a loving daughter, a sister, a friend with a bright smile. To her 2 teenage children, she was simply Mom, the center of their world. She lived in Springfield, Illinois, and like so many of us, she had her struggles, including challenges with her mental health. But on that July night, her fear was specific and immediate. She believed someone was outside her home. So she did what any citizen is supposed to do. She dialed 911. The deputies who responded were Sean Grayson and his partner. Now, to understand this moment, you have to understand Sean Grayson. His personnel file, once sealed, now tells a story of its own. A former Army soldier discharged for serious misconduct. A history that included DUIs. He'd been an officer at 5 different agencies in just a few short years. At one, a supervisor wrote a memo asking, point blank, how he was still employed, noting his terrible decision-making. Another agency recommended high-stress decision-making training. Yet he kept wearing a badge. The system, it seems, kept passing him along until he landed in Sangamon County. So when he knocked on Sonya Massey's door that night, he wasn't just a deputy. He was a walking red flag that every previous department had somehow missed or ignored. The timeline of that night is a chilling descent. 12:50 a.m., the call comes in. Deputies arrive. Check the yard. Find no prowler. They go inside. On Bodycam, Sonya is visibly distressed, speaking of God, trying to find her ID. The deputies notice a pot of water boiling on the stove. Grayson tells her to turn it off. A simple request, but think about it. Why? If you're just there to get a name for a report and then leave, why involve her with a pot of boiling water? Sonya, compliant, goes to the stove. She picks up the pot. She says, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." In that moment, a switch flips. Grayson's demeanor transforms. He draws his gun, screaming, "I'll shoot you right in your face." His partner, later testifying he was not afraid of Sonya but of Grayson, also draws his weapon. Sonya, saying, "Okay, I'm sorry," ducks behind a kitchen counter, setting the pot down. And then, Sean Grayson fires.
Previous, yeah, it
Okay,
was.
what was the damage?
A dent, I believe.
What about windows?
Oh, it was something that happened earlier.
Okay, perfect. What is your last name? Shouldn't have to think about your last name. You're not in trouble. I just need to text.
Massey.
Huh?
Massey.
You have an ID? That'd make things so much easier. I just need just a driver's license will do, and then I'll get out of your hair.
I want to show y'all my paperwork.
I will get your paperwork.
What paperwork?
Okay. I got some paperwork.
Well, just get your ID real
Well, let's
quick.
get your ID first, and then
One task at a time here.
Okay, let me
Here, grab your ID for me.
Okay.
Your ID. One task at a time. So let's do an ID, and then you can dig around for your paperwork.
I don't know where my ID is.
You
is it in that stack right there, maybe?
Okay. 1 second.
check on her.
Let me get this.
We don't need a fire while we're here.
Right. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Where you going?
Huh?
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Huh?
Rebuke you in the name of
You
Jesus.
better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you right in your fucking face.
Alright. Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot!
19 shots fired.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Drop the fucking pot! Bring EMS now. We got a headshot wound to the female. Headshot wound to the female. 1078. Fuck.
I was on. I'm gonna go get my kit.
No, headshot. Yeah, sure. She's done. You can go get it, but that's a headshot. God damn it.
God, fuck.
Yeah, I'm not taking fucking boiling water in the fucking head. Hey, look, it fucking came right to our feet, too. God damn it.
Fuck. God damn it.
You good?
I'm good. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. What's she got? Let her fucking just...
God.
Isn't that what you do, man?
Fuck.
You good? Alright. Fuck. Well, I mean, you know, what else do we do? I'm not taking hot boiling water to the fucking face, and it already reached us.
They got a 52 en route?
Yeah, 1078. She's still breathing, but she's losing a lot of blood from the head. I'll go get my med kit.
Go get, yeah, hurry, get your med kit.
I mean, there's not much we can do.
We can at least try and stop the blood.
The bullet strikes Sonya Massey in the face. She dies right there on her kitchen floor. The deputy who had just promised to shoot her in the face had made good on that promise. In the aftermath, as his partner moved to get a medical bag, Grayson allegedly said, "She's done." The finality of it, the coldness, the legal machine ground into motion, but for the Massey family, life had shattered. Her daughter, Sante, just 15, would later tell a courtroom, "This is a pain I can't even explain. Sometimes I really wake up and believe she's really here. It's unbelievable." Her son, Malachi, 17, stood strong beside civil rights attorney Ben Crump, his grief fueling a demand for justice. Her father, James Wilburn, spoke of a family bent but not broken. "I will never hear again. Daddy, I love you," he said. Her mother, Donna, voiced a fear that now haunts so many. "Today, I'm afraid to call the police for fear that I may end up like Sonya." The case against Sean Grayson seemed straightforward. He was fired, arrested, and charged with first-degree murder. The trial in the fall of 2025 was national news. But the justice system is a maze. Grayson took the stand. He claimed fear, said he thought the pot of water was a threat. His defense argued his actions, however tragic, were a split-second mistake. And the jury deliberated and delivered a verdict that landed like a gut punch to the Massey family. Not guilty of first-degree murder, but guilty of second-degree murder.
A former sheriff's deputy charged with first-degree murder for shooting a woman who had called 911 was convicted on a lesser charge yesterday. Sean Grayson, he claimed he was defending himself from victim Sonya Massey. National correspondent Jerika Duncan is at the courthouse in Peoria, Illinois. Jerika, good morning.
Good morning to you, Nate. You know, a jury of 8 women and 4 men deliberated for roughly 12 hours, and I was inside that courtroom when the verdict was read. The Massey family was silent. They said this was not justice, but a miscarriage of justice.
He was in 6 police departments in 3.5 years. That is shameful.
Sonya Massey's father, James Wilburn, was emotional and frustrated after Wednesday's verdict. Sean Grayson was facing 3 counts of first-degree murder, but a jury found him guilty on 1 lesser count of second-degree murder, sparing Grayson a possible life sentence.
He told my child he would shoot her in the effing face, and he did it. And all we got was a second-degree murder conviction out of this.
What do you need help with?
The former Sangamon County Sheriff's deputy shot Massey down in her kitchen after she called 911 to check on a suspected prowler. Grayson testified that he viewed Massey's pot of boiling water as a threat and was trained to use force to gain compliance. The trial, which began last week, largely focused on disturbing body camera footage recorded by Grayson's partner in the early morning hours of the deadly 2024 incident. Prosecutors said Grayson failed to render medical aid to Massey right after the shooting. After the verdict, we sat down with Massey's father, cousin, and family friend.
To the Grayson family, what do you say to them?
I feel sorry for them. The mother came over and apologized, and she said, "We did not raise him that way, and I'm really sorry for your family." My heart goes out to them. We lost Sonya, but they lost a son, and what he did for Sonya, he has to pay, and they realize that.
Earlier this year, Sangamon County paid out $10 million in a wrongful death lawsuit, although the family said they would give all that money back to have Sonya with them. Grayson is expected to be sentenced in January. He is facing up to 20 years. In
Illinois, that verdict means the jury believed Grayson genuinely, but unreasonably, believed he was in imminent danger. It was a legal compromise that felt like a moral failure to those who loved Sonya. The sentencing finally arrived on January 29, 2026. In the courtroom, the family wore purple, Sonya's favorite color. Grayson, for the first time, expressed remorse. His lawyers made a startling plea for leniency, citing claims of stage 3 colon cancer that had supposedly spread. They asked for probation. The judge listened. And then he sentenced Sean Grayson to 20 years in prison, the maximum for the charge. It was a span of time. But for Sante and Malachi, no number of years brings back their mother's laugh, her cooking, her voice. So, what are we left to deduce? This isn't just a story about one bad apple cop. It's a blueprint of systemic failure. It's about hiring processes that overlook glaring red flags. It's about supervisors who write damning memos but don't manage to remove a danger from the streets. It's about a partner who sensed something was wrong but couldn't stop the avalanche. And it's about a woman whose only crime was being afraid and asking the wrong person for help. Sonya Massey's death forced changes. A Justice Department settlement mandated better de-escalation training in Sangamon County. A new Illinois law now demands more transparency in police hiring. But for her family, these are reforms written in blood. Was 20 years justice? Or was it merely the closing of a file? When the system designed to protect you becomes the instrument of your death, what does justice even look like? We want to hear what you think. Does this sentence bring a measure of accountability, or does it underscore how undervalued Black women's lives remain in these tragedies? Could anything have stopped Sean Grayson before he ever reached Sonya Massey's door? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement is what makes this community so vital. If this deep dive into a true tragedy and its complicated aftermath resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps others find our work. To follow along as we unravel more of the world's most compelling and consequential true crime stories, hit subscribe and tap that bell for notifications. We're True Crime Unraveled, and we thank you for watching and for remembering Sonya.
Now a judge just sentenced Sean Grayson to 20 years behind bars. The former Sangamon County Sheriff's deputy was convicted of killing Sonya Massey after she called 911 for help. Mayor Kawash is live in Springfield. You were in court, Mayor. Massey's children gave impact statements.
Yeah, very emotional morning here in court, in a packed courthouse with protesters outside, many family members here inside. But the Massey family erupted in tears and some joy as Judge Ryan Cadigan handed down a 20-year sentence to Sean Grayson. That's the maximum allowed under this second-degree murder conviction that he faced. We saw multiple rows of family members related to Sonya Massey, very emotional in court, and there was a handful of family members there for Deputy Sean Grayson. Now, Grayson made the decision in court to address the family and the courtroom himself, expressing a lot of emotion and remorse that we hadn't seen up until this point. He apologized for the entire incident, admitting that he made several mistakes on the night that he shot and killed Sonya Massey in her home in July of 2024, saying he wishes that he could bring her back, while also asking the family for forgiveness in the long run. Now, we heard 4 victim impact statements, 2 of those from Sonya's children and then both of her parents as well. Grayson looking straight at each family members as they addressed the court, at that time showing no emotion. Both of her children speaking about the permanent harm this has done to their family, their own mental health, and how they survive each day. At one point, Sonya's mother, Donna, ended her statement looking directly at Grayson, saying, quote, "Sean Grayson, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." Those are the exact words Sonya allegedly said to Grayson before he shot her 3 times in her home on July 6 of 24. During the trial, Grayson had told investigators he thought her, quote, rebuke meant she intended to kill him. Now 572 days since that shooting, Grayson officially sentenced to 20 years in prison, followed by 2 years of supervised release. We just heard some initial reaction from the family and attorney.
I am just overwhelmed with joy. We prayed that this would happen, that he would get the maximum sentence. But we look forward to him being prosecuted federally for violation of Sonya's civil rights. I don't care about who's running this country right now, but I'm gonna let you know that as her dad, I want him prosecuted federally too, so that when his sentence is up here in the state of Illinois, he can begin his federal sentence in the federal penitentiary.
Now, we have also seen protesters continue to gather outside the Sangamon County Courthouse both before and after the sentencing, chanting 20 years is simply not enough. The judge today also denying a motion from the defense requesting a new trial. The defense says they do plan to appeal this sentencing here in a few weeks. So Grayson now set for 20 years in prison. That'll be followed by 2 years of supervised release. We are expecting to hear more comments from the Massey family here shortly after this sentencing to learn more about their reaction. We did hear from Grayson's family. They said they have no comment at this time. Live from Sangamon County, Mayor Kawash, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Former Illinois Sheriff's deputy has received the maximum sentence for the fatal shooting of Sonya Massey, who was killed in her own kitchen after calling 911 for help. You may recall seeing this body camera video from July 2024. Former Deputy Sean Grayson said he thought Massey was going to throw a pot of boiling water at him before he fired his gun. Well, today, a judge sentenced Grayson to 20 years in prison and 2 years of supervised probation after he was convicted last October of second-degree murder. Massey's killing led to calls for justice and sparked nationwide protests over law enforcement-involved shootings. Let's bring in NBC News correspondent Shaquille Brewster. Shaq, it was a real emotional day inside and outside the court, I know, where we heard from both Grayson and Massey's family. Can you walk us through the sentencing and what they all said?
Yeah, Kate, definitely an emotional day inside that courtroom. And as you mentioned, the judge handing down that maximum sentence to Sean Grayson, 20 years behind bars, also that 2 years probation afterwards for the murder of Sonya Massey. It was a moment that was met with an outburst in the courtroom, some people pumping their fist. And it came after we heard from Grayson for the first time admit some wrongdoing in her shooting. He told the courtroom, and we have a full screen for you, but he said to the judge that, quote, "I was very unprofessional that night, said, I'm sorry. I wish there was something I could do to bring her back," ending with, "I'm very sorry." The family of Sonya Massey saying they were skeptical of those statements afterwards, but here was their tone right after that hearing.
I'm grateful that we got the maximum sentence that we could. 20 years is not enough, but they did what they thought, they did what they could do.
I don't care about who's running this country right now, but I'm gonna let you know that as her dad, I want him prosecuted federally too.
Now, Grayson's attorneys appealed to the judge for a probation sentence. Obviously, the judge rejected that argument, but there will be another motion, another hearing to reconsider that sentence. The defense attorney also pointing to Grayson's health, saying that he's suffering from stage 4 colon and rectal cancer as the reason why they wanted to see a lighter sentence. Obviously, the judge not agreeing with that argument.
Yeah. All right, Shaq Brewster for us. Shaq, thanks.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.